Yes, so you all are at a place called prepared. And so when I think about preparation and growing as business owners, the things that come to me are at the opportune time based on the level of committed consistency, doors will supernaturally open for you. So it's that opportune time based on your commitment to being consistent that will open those doors. And so today I want to talk to you about an earthquake. Now, many of you are not in the state of California, so you do not know what it's like to just suddenly feel the whole earth shaking, right? It can be a scary moment. You don't know whether you want to go get up under a doorpost. Back in the day when we were kids, they used to have us like put our hands over our head and get up under these desks. I would like die if I see my child doing that today. But that was the way we learned to prepare for earthquakes. But the reality is, when God shows up, sometimes it literally shakes the ground that you are on, and what you were in the middle of gets disrupted for him to introduce something new to you. And so you are not here by accident. This is not the Millionaire Vision Builder Mastermind by accident. This is a place where we are at the foundational stages of wealth, right? And one day we're going to get that shaking and we're going to be like, my God, preparation met the opportunity. And so I wanted to talk to us today about some keys that we must understand if God is going to trust us with resources for his kingdom. And so when we think about wealth, the only person who gives the power to attain wealth is God himself. He is the giver of the power. And the interesting thing is that we will see folks in different industries doing different things and they have wealth. Why? Because they've probably proven that they can be a good steward, right? They've had the training there. And so if we think about that, I did a teaching a while ago when I talked about wisdom, and in wisdom's right hand, we have long life, and in the left hand, we have riches and we have honor. So now we know the first key here is that God gives us the power to get wealth. So then we have to understand and we have to operate as powerful business women endowed with God with a power to get something, right? The next key that we have is we have to operate in wisdom, right? And we know that the Bible teaches us that if we ask for wisdom, he will give it freely. And so that means that we're not just operating and doing business as normal. We are going to God for asking for wisdom on what it is that we're doing. So we got two keys already. Here is something else I want you to know about wisdom. With wisdom, God created the earth. That means we are living in God's wisdom. And if we think about the saying, "In all thy getting, get an understanding," that means we have to go and be chasers of wisdom. The wealthiest man we saw in the Bible is who? Solomon. What did he ask for? Wisdom. Earth is wisdom. The light bulb in your house that produces wealth for someone else is wisdom. Our third key is if we go to him and he gives us direction, he will direct all of our paths. So there is no decision too small for us to include God in our businesses, because he will direct our paths. I was thinking earlier about this woman who told me to stop doing something I was doing. She said, you don't need to go down there. You don't need to do all of that. Go and do this. And I was like, man, had I listened to her logic versus God's wisdom, things would have turned out totally different for me. And so when we're thinking about our ideas, when we're thinking about our vision, when we're thinking about our wisdom, it is something that we have to protect from people's logic, because his ways are not our ways. His thoughts are not our thoughts. But then we have people who want to come and give us their thoughts, give us their ways. They may be well-meaning, but that's the same thing that we saw the enemy do with Eve, which took her original plan for her life, which took her direct access to God. Right? Someone coming in and distorting what she already knew. So let's just make this real practical. So if you go to him and he directs you, he's directing you. That's a personal communication that outside people are not privy to. And so when we make outside people privy to those things, then we rob ourselves of the opportunity and the preparation time to do what God told us to do. Once Eve and Adam were out of that garden, it was no going back. Now we live in a space of grace and recompense and restoration and all those different things. But why do we want to waste the one resource we never get back, which is time? So then we have to think about, how are we spending our time with God so that we can get our strategy for wealth? Any coach, any attorney, anything, myself included, we can give you a lot of things that we think are good. Some of them may be even downloads from God himself for us to give to you. But you always have to take that back to the direction that he gave to you. And so in the morning, in the afternoon, whenever you're working on your business, before you work on your business, you work and you spend time with God, so that he can direct your path, so that he can give you the day's strategy of success. And I'm a living witness, because I said to myself, okay, God, here's the play. God, I got your play. And you get the glory. That's what you want, right? You get the glory. So I'm going to give you the glory. Boom. X times X equals millionaire. Make it happen. Whose way was that? Was that his way? Did I seek him, or was that me going to him with my plan and my strategy? And I've said it before, I'm going to say it again. He's more interested in making you pure gold so that you can shine, so that you can be a light, so that you can be adorned with jewels the moment you are ready for the promise. And so right now you're probably thinking, well, I only got this in my hand. I only got that in my hand. We serve a God that has always used what was down on the inside of us. He's taken the natural things that we've had, and when we've gone for direction, he's put his super on our natural. Could you imagine Moses? Like, let's humanize this right now. Could you imagine Moses being at the Red Sea? Enemies closing in, and I got a stick and a God and complaining people. Enemies, a stick, God, and complaining people. God said, use what you got. And if you have the courage and the faith to make that step, that's when he blows on it. And we see, like, could you imagine the waters going up? I know we all done seen the Prince of Egypt and all those different things, but you can imagine the Pacific Ocean just going up right now. Right? And so when we don't follow the steps and the keys to really getting wealth, we rob ourselves of these opportunities. We rob ourselves of God to do these mass productions. It's not the only time he's done something like that. And so if we're thinking about what wealthy people do, they take what they have and they find a way to multiply it. And we find that in the parable of the sower. Is one of my favorite parables. And we see one person given 1 talent, another person given 2 talents, another person given 5 talents, according to their capacity. Right? And capacity was based on their preparation. What can you handle? What can you do? The person who didn't make an investment to try and multiply went to the weeping and gnashing of teeth. What's weeping and gnashing? Y'all, I think it's hell. Not multiplying sent him to hell, her to hell. So then we have to say to ourselves, what are we doing to multiply what's down on the inside? How are we going about using what we have to show that we can be trusted with more? Because that person with the 5 talents, he multiplied it and then God gave him the 1. So he got more because of his use. And so as you all are going to go forward and become these wealthy, wealthy, wealthy kingdom entrepreneurs, not only building businesses, but having nonprofits attached to you to serve people in need. I want you to keep this at the forefront of your mind of the things that you need to be doing daily. And when the going gets tough, because it will get tough, we are built to be put into trials to be refined for more. It's not if a trial will come, it is when a trial will come. And what am I supposed to learn during the trial? Am I complaining or am I rejoicing that God is keeping me the entire time I'm in the trial? Am I in the trial still at a place where I'm going to multiply what I have down on the inside? These are the things that remain constant throughout time. And you know, my goddaddy, y'all, Bishop Jakes, he says, congratulations, you made it to the next level. You made it to the next trial. I was walking into my building yesterday and I was like, I really have to take time to maximize the low moments. Meaning when it's just like that little period of like, whew, it's all good. Because in a second, the heat is going to be like turned up and it's going to be time for me to grow again and be built again. And so you have to make a decision. Do you want to just be an entrepreneur or you want to be the entrepreneur that God's called you to be? The one that he put you on earth to be. And if you do, that means you have to relate to him closer so then you get the right instruction. Because those that diligently obey his commands will receive a blessing. I mean, the blessings were raining in Deuteronomy. But you have to sit to hear. After you hear, you have to follow diligently to details. If he says, stop working on the flyer and pray, stop working on the flyer and pray. If he says, don't do any work, don't do any work. Because he can take that effort that you were going to use and cause a door to open where you didn't have to do anything. But again, you have to decide who is going to be the God in your life. Is it going to be you or is it going to be God? Keys to wealth. When you get to the right door with the right key, with the right strategy, it opens. With the right help, it opens. So I'm just looking at some people where they're about to open up some things. One door at a time. Can you imagine a castle? You open the front door, you're like, whoo, where do I go? You start trying different keys at different doors, and then you get to that one door that's deep down in there. After you done been scared because it's dark, I just think about the Beauty and the Beast, y'all. That was a scary movie for me. But eventually you get to that place where it's like, wow, what is happening here? And are you going to be the people that are going to sit and remain committed to get to the wow? Keys, open doors. Doors give you access. People are doors. Places are doors. Opportunities are doors. Jesus himself is a door. I am the door. So get your keys ready. It's time to get your wealth.